Hi everyone, it's LaShonda from Labors of Love with another Therapy Thursday video. So today I would like to talk about this process I call N.A.A. N.A.A. So it stands for Notice, Acknowledge, and Accept. And I believe that if we can go through the N.A.A. process with many areas of our life, we will have less stress, less anxiety, and kind of some of that uncomfortable tension within our bodies will let up a little bit. And so let me tell you a little bit about each part. So N is notice. Mainly, I'm encouraging us to notice what's happening in our bodies. We have a tendency to think that noticing is something that we do with our eyes or our ears. We know that, but we forget that those things come to our body first. And we have a tendency to jump straight to, well, what do I think about what I see? What do I think about what I hear? What do I think about what I taste? But in all actuality, we need to bring our noticing well below our neck into our bodies. And so with notice, it is an opportunity for each of us to just take some time on a regular basis. And by regular, I mean multiple times a day, to just pause, take a deep breath, and notice what's happening inside of our bodies. When we build the habit and practice of doing that on a regular basis, when we have things coming through our five senses that may trigger a defensive response, then we are better equipped to notice where we're experiencing it in our body. After we notice, we want to go to acknowledge. Noticing and acknowledging are not the same thing. If you have ever been in an argument or had a conflict with someone in your life, you probably very well know that you can notice their presence and not acknowledge them at all. Well, we do that to our bodily sensations all the time. We may even notice that they're there, but we don't go to the next step of acknowledging what we feel. I notice that I am feeling something in the pit of my stomach, and I'm going to acknowledge it by taking some deep breaths, that I'm going to breathe into that spot, or that I'm going to call out, I feel tight or tension in my belly. So not just noticing, oh yeah, I feel something, but acknowledging this is what I'm feeling and this is where it is. And then the step after acknowledging is accepting. Acceptance is probably the hardest of the three steps because there's often this misbelief that acceptance means that you have to like it, or that you're okay with it as it is, or that you don't want things to change. And acceptance doesn't mean any of those things in this instance. Acceptance simply means that you're not going to necessarily try to change it in that moment, but you're just going to acknowledge things as they are. I'm going to notice, acknowledge, and accept where I am right now. And that becomes a launch pad for change. If we don't notice, acknowledge, and accept where we are in the present, then we are constantly trying to make changes based on a false start because we're not truly being honest with ourselves about where we are. And so I want to further give you an invitation with N.A.A. Notice, acknowledge, accept. And I want to invite you to do this with sensations, feelings, and thoughts. Sensations are what you physically experience in your body. Feelings are those emotion words that we attach to it. And thoughts are the story that we make up to surround the feelings and the sensations that we're having. And so an example would be, there is a certain sensation I feel in my lower stomach when I have to use the restroom. There is a feeling of urgency that begins to come when I realize I need to use the bathroom. And there is a thought that happens that I need to make sure I have access to a bathroom. If I'm driving, I'm looking at where's my destination. If I'm working, where's a good point to stop. All of the entire experience is related to needing to use the restroom, but there was a sensation that was separate than the feeling that was separate from the thought that I had about it. And this occurs all day, every day for human beings. We are having sensations all the time, and we are experiencing feelings related to those sensations all the time. And our brain is making up stories and organizing thoughts and stories around those sensations and those feelings all the time. This is just an invitation to put maybe some language and structure to what's already happening inside of you and give you the opportunity to notice those things, acknowledge them, and accept them just as they are. It is what it is. I truly believe that from this standpoint of noticing, acknowledging, and accepting, we can then be able to move forward with many of the changes we would like to make in our lives. But we sometimes are so far ahead that we think we can just change the outcome, which is our behavior, when oftentimes we have to go way back to what is the sensation that triggered that behavior? What is the feeling? What are the thoughts? And so as a beginning point, that is my offering to you this week. Notice, acknowledge, and accept your various sensations, feelings, and thoughts. So I hope that if you are up for the challenge, you'll reach out. Let me know how it's going. If you have questions, please let me know that as well. So as always, if you need to get in touch, please reach out. The website is www.thelaborsoflove.com. Very excited. The website just got a recent upgrade, so it's beautiful. So shout out to Sierra Recruiter, who was the person who did the website. We're on all the social media outlets. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where all of our Therapy Thursday videos are held. And just this week, our brand new podcast started on Tuesday. So please, please, please head over to listen to the podcast. Episodes 0 and 1 are out. You can listen to it on Apple Music, Google Music, Spotify, and anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to listen, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast as well. So lots of great things going on until we connect again and I'm able to connect with more things. You all be well.